I'm Sith King.
And I'm Sonic Sons.
We're the Ramblin' Reviewers.
And today we're looking at Deadpool 2. Woo! Weirdness of weirdness.
Now, I know that we said that we'd do DuckTales.
Oh, yeah.
We lied.
We're going to do that, and then maybe we'll do that later.
And then we got
after
tired.
We watch some more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot we told them we were going to do DuckTales.
Oh,
no,
I didn't.
That's just it, though. DuckTales has been interrupted by Deadpool, you see. This is the DuckTales review, and he just took over the whole thing.
Deadpool. Woo! Every out there killing people for money. Woo! Breaking fourth walls. Something or other that rhymes and la la.
I have to write that song down.
Oh, please. Deadpool would happily sing that song.
He does rewrite history, doesn't he? That's part of...
Yeah. Okay, obviously spoilers for Deadpool 2, but, yeah. So, a little background information on the character of Deadpool.
Watch Deadpool 1.
Okay, well...
Finish the background. No, go ahead.
Okay, in reality, the actor Ryan Reynolds has long been a fan of Deadpool. Well, I mean, yeah, he's been a big fan of Deadpool. He actually played Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Unfortunately, that movie botched the character so badly that it looked like there wasn't ever going to be a real Deadpool movie.
As they said in the honest trailers, it was like, just wait till you see what they've done to Deadpool. The merc with the mouth has his mouth sewn shut. Like, just from that sentence alone, you're like, what the frick did they do to this character?
Yeah, well, we'll get to that little bit of insanity later. But to the point, one of the producers really hated Deadpool, and so he insisted on this change. Yes, at the end, they did recut open his mouth, but the damage was already done at that point. He
still wasn't Deadpool. He was just some guy.
He was just some guy that happened to have regenerating powers. And for some reason had all these other mutant powers because shut up. Anywho, Ryan Reynolds then spent the next several years campaigning to get a Deadpool movie, and they made a Deadpool movie. Then, they made another one.
And he was really hoping to get Hugh Jackman in it as Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman had already said goodbye to the character in the movie Logan. So this movie starts off with a little music box type thing of Wolverine getting killed in the exact pose he gets killed in the movie.
With the word Logan on it.
Yeah. And Deadpool starts complaining about this.
Yep, because it's Deadpool. Anyway, so it shows Deadpool, attempting to commit suicide. Happy days!
Yeah, it's that dark kind of thing, guys. There's a reason it's rated R. There were a few moments in this movie where I closed my eyes. Like, this is gonna get too gory.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, yep. By the way, before we get too far into this, I'd like to recommend the YouTube channel Cinema Wins, which I just finished explaining to Sonic Sons. It's like the opposite of Cinema Sins. In fact, it started off as a parody of it, but now it's become a little more of a, not quite SF to... It leans more towards SF debris than the Nostalgia Critic.
Okay.
Like on the pure emotion versus pure logic, with Nostalgia Critic being pure emotion and SF debris being pure logic. Yes, I know that it isn't really that, but for sake of argument, he's leaning more towards the SF debris side of things. He's good. Go watch his stuff. Has some really good videos on all the Star Wars films, including the good points of Episode 1. He's also known to go, yep, when, he thinks things are self-evident for why they're awesome. Like the Hulk doing Hulk things. Anyways.
Puny God.
Oh, yeah, he got a win for every time Loki hit the ground. Okay, so Deadpool, it starts off with the Merc with the Mouth doing his usual Merc with the Mouth stuff. Basically being really silly while killing lots and lots of people. All over the world this time.
Yeah.
Though we don't really get an explanation for why he's killing people all over the world.
Well, as you and I discussed before the start of this review, he's got adaptational heroism compared to his comic book counterpart. So this version of him is, he decided to do something good, even if he doesn't think of himself as a hero. So he just goes around the world killing mass murderers and stuff.
We're gonna skip a lot of Deadpool's jokes because literally every time he
Yeah,
opens
it's like
his mouth
every
is a joke.
couple of seconds there's another weird little thing. We just can't explain them all.
Yeah, we'd be here. You should just go watch the film if you want us to explain all the jokes. Actually, we should do a riff tracks of that.
Huh.
We could actually explain whatever. It'll probably be on the director's commentary of the DVD or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, so he's going around the world killing people until he comes to his home of
some town in Americaville.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
guessing it's New York.
Because everything is in New York.
Because everything is New York. Wow.
Actually, it would make sense considering that they can apparently drive to the X-Men mansion, and that's supposed to be in upstate New York. So let's go with Deadpool lives in New York.
Okay.
Anyways, Deadpool kills a lot of bad people, sex slave traders, drug runners, bad...
Mass murderers, you mentioned, is a thing. And one of them, the guy, locks himself in a panic room.
Which is more important than it initially seems.
Yeah.
But because Deadpool's running late for his anniversary, he has to let that guy go. And I was really concerned because when it started off, it was playing All Out of Love, I'm So Lost Without You. Pretty much the typical breakup song.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned that Vanessa had broken up with Wade so that they could make room for a new love interest for Wade in this film.
I would not have liked that.
Look, I mean, honestly, it would not be the first or last time that has happened in a film.
Sure.
Remember Michaela from the Transformers movies? Her actress said some terrible things in real life, so she was canned from the third Transformers movie.
Michaela was the name of that girl.
The Latino, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Latina. And so they brought in a new super hot woman to play the role of Sam's girlfriend.
It's hard to remember Transformers, honestly. It's all a blur. I do remember, actually, they changed out the girl, but I couldn't tell you her name.
Okay, yeah, the live-action ones are a little hard to remember. Me, I unfortunately have
I've only seen number 1 and number 3. I skipped the rest of them.
Yeah, well, apparently that's supposed to be a good thing. But
yeah.
I stopped at 3. Mostly I watched 3, not because I wanted to see it, but because I was there when they were filming some of the scenes.
Oh.
I'm not in the movie, but I was watching it from across the river as they did this one scene. I can point the exact scene. It's the scene where they run up some stairs.
The stairs. Very important.
And I'm like, oh my god. Mom and I went inside, and I just freaked out. Oh my god, we're there. We were there. They were doing that.
That's nice.
Yep. Anyways, where were we? Seriously. Okay. I thought they were just going to have Vanessa break up with Wade because of reasons, and then he'd get together with, Domino or some other...
See, because the romance story was so core to Deadpool 1 that I thought to myself, surely they haven't done that, I hope, and they hadn't. It turns out he gets there for the anniversary and is late, but she forgives him, and he gives her a present, a skee-ball token from their first date. So
and she gives him an IUD.
And he's like, an improvised explosive device?
Now, let's be fair to Deadpool here. This isn't an example of him being an idiot. Because I thought the exact same thing when I first heard of that.
IU versus IE makes all the difference.
Yeah.
The point is...
No, she rips off her face. I was Thanos all along!
What?
Yes, I can picture Thanos using an IED. Shut up.
Okay. Anyway,
also shut up.
The point is she's ready to have a baby, and he's on board with that. So they start talking about having a kid and what they would name the kid and so forth. And wow, I said it in the Deadpool 1 review. Basically, this whole movie is just like Deadpool 1 and mashed up in different, but it's the same essential materials. And there's this utter zaniness everywhere. But it's relatable because there's a core heart in the middle there.
Yeah.
Deadpool
he might have been shot a couple times and regenerated,
right?
But,
Deadpool himself is a good guy at heart, and his romance with Vanessa is deep and meaningful, and they really want to have a kid and start a family and all these great things.
Although I don't know if they're married yet, so that would be kind of cool if they got married.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Who knows? That guy who was stuck in the panic room.
He comes back with a bunch of goons and shoots up the place.
And Deadpool kills all of them except one who manages to shoot Vanessa. And I was like, oh my gosh, are we really going there? and then he like tracks down the killer like 2 minutes later and grabs him, and they hurls himself and the guy into a bus, or rather sidesteps into the bus.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny how it does it, because everything is funny in this film. Even the heartwarming moments are funny. He grabs the guy and pulls him into a hug, and you think, wow, this is a different direction for it. And then he pulls both of them in front of a bus.
You're like, okay.
Okay,
so
never
he killed,
mind.
he
We're back
killed
to
the
normal.
guy, and now Vanessa's gone, and they go to the opening credits, and it's like produced by, wait, did they just kill her? And presented by, you gotta be kidding me.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, they play with the credits again,
Yeah.
because it would not be a Deadpool movie unless they played with the formatting.
Yeah. So wow, then it becomes like a story of him overcoming his grief, and again doing that interesting balance of him in grief, and there's some serious moments, like when he tells Colossus we were gonna have a child and things like that. And then there's silly moments just baked in there also, like when he steals Professor X's wheelchair casually.
Okay, after doing some shit, Wade eventually decides to commit suicide, which leads to the very first scene in the film where he blows himself up. Colossus finds the wreckage of Wade's place and drags him back to the X-Men manor.
Drags back all of the pieces, which I guess just grew back together or something.
Well, let's be fair. That's not the silliest thing in this
No,
film.
yeah, that's Deadpool. That's his thing. And he basically tells him, look, I'm sorry for your loss, but try and do something productive. How about join the X-Men, like I was telling you to do last movie?
And then, like, Wade makes this comment about how is it you are, like, the only people I see in this place. Where is everyone else? And then the camera shifts, and you see the rest of the X-Men standing in this room. Beast closes the door so they're not part of this bullshit.
Yeah.
Also, we see Negasonic Teenage Warhead again, which, yes, that is still an amazing name. She has a girlfriend now.
Yay!
And, of course, Deadpool has to be an ass about everything. He's actually really supportive of the couple and thinks they look adorable together. He just said, I kind of didn't think that you would be dating Pinkie Pie. Her name is Yukiko, and she has long pink hair.
And she's constantly doing the Japanese teenage girl smile thing. Hi! Like, there's a particular pose that shows up in, like, modeling and whatever in Japanese,
yeah, but here's the thing that's kind of cool about Yukio. And, like, one, she's not the one who fixes the device at the end, so, you know, it averts the Japanese.
I guess they're
always
both working on it, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, but, like, it's not purely...
Yeah.
Two, Deadpool is never mean to Yukio.
That's right.
Ever.
Sure.
In this whole film.
Yeah.
He is nothing less than polite to her. Okay, he'll swear around her, but to her, he is never mean, condescending, sarcastic.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, he might be a little, but, you know, it wouldn't be Deadpool, but he is genuinely nice to Yukio.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll snark at Negasonic Teenage Warhead, but he's always nice to her.
Yeah.
And that's just really nice to see. I mean, yes, this is the adaptational heroism Deadpool who wants to start a family with Vanessa. Yes, he has his good moments, but there's still that core of assholishness that are surrounding the inner
it's
core.
the war between the heart and the jerk
like,
face.
he's an ass to people who want to help him, but, like, Yukio, he's always just like, hi, hi, Yukio, and just... I found that adorable.
And of course, it's a milestone for gay superheroes. You know, even though it's just casually in the background there, like, oh yeah, lesbian couple. Anyway,
I mean, they don't really do much in the film.
No, they're not a major part of the film, but they're in there, and it's totally accepted. In fact, just you saying about the sarcasm bit, because Deadpool, like, reacts to this at first, like, what the heck? And Negasonic's like, hey, don't be so judgmental. He's like, oh, no, I'm fine with it being a girl. I just didn't think anyone would date you. But again, only says that to Negasonic and not to Yukio herself, you know, like...
Yeah, just, like...
The details,
Yeah. So, again, Deadpool interacting with Yukio. It's not deep. It's actually kind of on the shallow side, because it's mostly
cute,
high, but... Honestly, Negasonic and Yukio are adorable together,
Yeah.
and Deadpool is just absolutely heartwarming in that he doesn't say anything bad to Yukio. Anyways, so he's drafted into the X-Men, which is a nice kind of change from the comics, where everyone will go out of their way to say, no, Deadpool, you are not allowed within a 50-yard radius of our team.
Yeah.
In
By
fact,
the way, when he... a couple like 3 different times in this film, he has like a vision of Vanessa, and one of them when he blows up, and she is like separated from him by this weird mystic barrier or something, and this is the afterlife. We don't know what's going on. And she said to him that your heart is in the wrong place. And Colossus says something about getting your heart in the right place, and he was like, "Oh, this is like the message from Vanessa. Okay, fine, I'll join the X-Men. Let's do this." So Vanessa was still part of all this, yeah.
So they go to this school for wayward mutants, which I think that should have been a red flag. Like even Xavier's is school for gifted youths, which okay, that's a little bit of a weasel way around it, but. You don't call someone a mutant. That seems like a slur.
Well, mutie is technically the slur. The more important bit there is how they treat the mutants in their place. Yeah, which comes to light pretty soon.
Russell is a mutant, and he's standing outside, and he wants to go by the name Firefist. He is overweight, so, that's some body...
He has a body image issue there.
Reverse also, body shaming, Like, they have... people who obviously aren't supermodels in the films. What is that called?
Body type diversity?
Sure, let's go with that.
Okay. Point is, he's upset about something, and he's torching the lawn all around him, and there's like a SWAT team and stuff, and trying to make him stop doing that. And the X-Men show up to intervene, and Deadpool's like, alright, cool, I'll talk to him, and...
Which
shenanigans ensue.
Okay, shenanigans. Deadpool talks to someone and shenanigans ensued. Who's surprised? Answer: nobody.
Yeah, if you're going to use Deadpool for anything, it has to be something that where people need to get shot. That's what he's good at. Not necessarily negotiation. Or
exploded. Or chainsawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just send him against the zombie hordes. He'd be the perfect anti-zombie weapon.
There's actually a comic book where Deadpool was fighting the zombies, except that he eventually decided to feed himself to the zombies, and all the zombies became Deadpool, and then they took over the world as an army of Deadpools.
Okay, so don't trust Deadpool for anything, apparently.
Yeah, like I said, this is adaptational heroism Deadpool. Yeah. Things are going well. He actually manages to get a power limiter onto the kid's neck, and... Well, actually, some cops do, but, he helped.
Well, yeah, he, had knocked the kid out briefly after initial negotiations didn't work perfectly well. Yeah. And then after they get the power limiter on the kid's neck, he sees there's pre-existing scars on the kid's neck. And he takes this seriously. And this is, again, as I said in the first movie, I remember, oh, man, there's, a message in there about, there's an anti-stalking thing I found, and then there was this, he's... treating a prostitute with complete sincerity and so forth.
Yeah, that was I thought one of the cleverest moments in the first movie is $200 and I'll do whatever you want. So they go out and play skee ball.
Yeah, and he's genuinely interested in doing that. It's not even like he has a skee ball fetish. He just wants to get to know her, and this is a fun thing to do. They have sex later, but first you want to get to know her.
But Wade in this universe is good at seeing the underneath of people.
Yeah.
Also the insides of people, but let's skip past that.
The point is, he takes it very seriously. He says, wait, did the people at this school hurt you? Did that guy hurt you? Did that guy? Both of them? And the kid nods. And he recites the 4 or 5 moment speech, edited, from the end of the first film.
Because I somewhat don't think Colossus would say, you're a hero when you ejaculate into a soap dispenser. Because I don't think Colossus would ever say that.
No, he wouldn't.
In fact, I don't think anyone except Deadpool would say that.
Yeah. Point is, though, he decides, frick it, I'm saving this kid. And he just starts murdering the kid's abusers. And you're like, that is so Deadpool. I mean, not all of them, yeah, but that is so Deadpool that, haphazard, impulsive, and kind of crazy, but B, for this version of Deadpool, you sympathize with what he's going for there. He's like, screw it. I am killing the bad guys and fixing shit, and I'm not going to go through all the normal processes. I'm just going to pull triggers and stuff will happen.
Well, for some reason, one of their new members snapping and deciding to murder a bunch of random bystanders, that does not endear the X-Men to him.
No, it doesn't.
So they kick him off the team, and he's sent to the mutant prison. And
Which is called the Icebox.
He has a power limiter slapped on him, like the kid Russell. So he and Russell are sent to the Icebox. Now, see, the problem with this for Deadpool is that his mutant power is not, in fact, super regeneration. That's a side effect. His power is not dying of infinite cancer.
I feel like, yeah, super regeneration is the sort of thing that will stop you from
Yeah,
dying
but
of
its
cancer.
primary purpose is to stop him from dying of cancer. So when you turn that off, he starts to die of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a very interesting relationship with the kid there. You could have gone this simplistic way of like, you know, I'm immediately your surrogate father and I'll be here for you no matter what. Or you could also go the other way of like, you know, I'm just a jerk and I don't care about anybody. But instead what he does is he keeps telling the kid, please stop being friends with me, mostly because he knows he's gonna die and he wants the kids to make friends with other thugs in the prison so they can protect him. And you're like, this is interesting, several layers going on here.
Yeah,
What do you
well,
know?
it's not totally unique, because we've seen Batman do this. I must act alone, because I've seen people I love get hurt before.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
there's a bit of that in there.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yes, at one point, Deadpool does say, I'm Batman, in the growly voice.
Yeah.
So,
That was cool.
yeah. While they're in prison, well, there's been this plot thread weaving its way through the story thus far, where a cyborg from the future named Cable has come back, played by Josh Brolin, and yes, they do bring attention to the fact that he also played Thanos from Avengers Infinity War, which we didn't intend as a connection to our previous episode, but here we are.
Here we are. So Cable shows up at the prison and just starts shooting everything, basically. And it looks like he's trying to attack Deadpool.
But then it turns out that that's a subversion. He's going after Russell.
Yeah. And
'Cause-
Deadpool freaks out about that and says, what the frick, and fights him a lot. And eventually his power limiter comes off. Did it just get, like, broken after he fell off of a thing?
He hit his back and head so hard on the ground that it kind of snapped off.
It's just funny that, like, Colossus couldn't exert that same amount of force later in the film. Yeah, that was a little odd. Anyway, so the thing snaps off,
Well,
and he gets his
he
powers
waved
back.
him off later on. He wanted to die.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. You think Colossus would be like, screw it, I make decisions once in a while, because he's the kind of guy who would be like, what's important here is this, and we will do this, you know?
Yeah, but there's also, like, a lot of liberal attitudes, and I guess some of that might extend to your rights to life.
Maybe. Anyway, point is,
So,
he gets his powers back in the
back
middle
to our
of the fight.
discussion about Colossus's views on euthanasia.
That's the name
Happy
of the comic.
stories!
Yeah.
Okay, so eventually Deadpool learns nothing, and they get thrown out of the prison.
Well, he learns the Cable's from the future is all. And they get literally, when I say thrown out of the prison, I mean there was an explosion and the two of them go tumbling through the snow on the mountainside on the side of the prison.
And he falls into a lake, and he has his second vision of Vanessa.
Yeah. Which, by the way, his pet name for her is Ness. And I made the connection that the video game character Ness was introduced in a game called Mother. And he's using that to refer to someone who wants to
Are
be
you
a
sure
mother.
it's Mother and not Earthbound?
Oh, in Japan, it was Mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they made it Earthbound when they brought it over to America.
Though I don't think that was the connection they were trying
Yeah,
to.
I would be impressed if they were
But
making a
it's
connection
one of
that was
those,
that far. Yeah.
neat little, not really connections.
Yeah.
And then somehow he's back in the bad guy bar.
Well, he like claws his way out of the ice after the vision.
Yeah, and then he's on the ice, and then somehow he's hundreds of miles away, and
He walked or something. I don't know. I got the impression that the security at the prison was freaking out over all the doors being busted and all the prisoners rioting, and they just didn't have time to go follow him. And he was like, "Frick it, I'm gonna go make Plan B."
Okay, so he decides to get together a team. Oh boy, this ends badly.
Yeah, well, I should say the Weasel is the name of the guy at the bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Informs him that since the prison got busted up, they're gonna transfer everyone to a new prison. So there's gonna be an armored convoy, and Deadpool hopes to intercept the convoy, save Russell from the prisoners, from the prison guards, and also save him from Cable, who's presumably still out there hunting him down. And by the way, the toughest guy in the prison is some mystery guy on the ground floor, and Russell like has a conversation with him. We don't know who this guy is, so mysteries.
Although I do think the mystery guy went along with Russell's plan a little too eagerly. I mean, generally speaking, when I see this sort of thing happen, the weaselly little shit trying to worm his way into the attentions of a bigger guy, in comics, this usually ends with the bigger guy escaping from prison, and the instant he has no use for the little guy anymore, he crushes him.
That's a little weird. I guess we'll get to that when that happens. Point is, Deadpool puts together this team, and he's got, let's see, a lady named Domino, who has the power of good luck, and they have a whole discussion about whether or not that's a real power, which is something that comic book fans in general can discuss, because the trouble with having luck as a superpower is that there's no way to know its limitations. It's very easy to make it all Deus Ex Machina-ish. But they made it funny, so it works because it's funny.
I mean, Jinx from Teen Titans had bad luck as her power, but that had, like, force beam component where she would shoot, like, beams or little bits of energy out, and you could see visibly the effects, like the road would crumble at that exact moment. But, I said...
Yeah, it's helpful to know kind of the rules on which a power runs, so you can know, oh, in this case it works or it doesn't work because such and such factor happened,
And then Deadpool, of course, calls out his creator, saying, oh no, that sounds like a terrible superpower that an idiot who couldn't draw feet would invent. Naturally calling out his own creator, Rob Liefeld, who also created Domino, and was also known for not being able to draw feet. Or, if you've watched any bit of Atop the Fourth Wall, human anatomy in general.
Oh, that's from the opening song.
Yeah, Liefeld,
you're not an artist.
No.
Wow. Well, I guess he was better at character creation.
No, he actually wasn't.
Deadpool.
He made a generic mercenary.
Oh.
Other writers took the character of Deadpool and turned him into the Merc with the Mouth that we love.
Oh, okay.
It's just that the guy who originally put him onto paper was Rob Liefeld.
I see.
It's kind of like, Derpy Hooves from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Okay.
You could say that the guy who does the backgrounds for that show created Derpy, but in a sense it was the fans who brought her to life with their love and affection, and that was reciprocated by the actual studio.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it makes fun of Rob Liefeld.
It's not, like, direct, but you know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm failing at.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
okay. Anyways, he makes fun of Rob Liefeld. They all try to parachute out of the plane to AC/DC's Thunderstruck, which is... Oh, boy. I absolutely love this song, by the way. So, it's kind of heartbreaking to see it used this way. Well, the people he uses are this black guy with the power to disrupt electrical fields.
Which is the most stereotypical thing for black people to have in comics, because for I don't forget which character originally did this. There was a black character with electrical powers, and then 4 other characters since then have been copied off of that model, to the point that people have been analyzing the apparent racist message between electrical powers and black people. It's not actually meant to have any meaning. It's just different companies copying each other a lot.
Yeah, that's yeah. Oops.
So companies not being creative is the real sin there, but. Point is, that guy was there. Vanisher, Invisible Guy, is there.
Yeah, Can you look it up to see who played Vanisher?
Yeah, I'll go look it up.
Because, we keep thinking that we know who this guy is, but...
You saw him for just... Yes, Brad Pitt. That was it.
Oh,
yeah.
It was Brad Pitt.
We just saw him for a moment. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I recognized him, but yeah, it was Brad Pitt. But he was invisible literally up until... Well, we'll get to that. There was this guy that shot acid out of his mouth. There was a guy who...
described himself as being just better at everything.
Yeah,
without just demonstrating any of it.
Shatterstar, who I've seen before in the X-Men cartoon. Yeah, it wasn't, a big scene where he was in, so it wasn't very memorable. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. Domino and Peter, an absolutely normal guy.
Yes, that guy was...
Everyone dies horribly. And this was
my gosh.
Everyone except for Domino dies horribly.
Because there's a high wind warning and they're parachuting and dang it, we didn't think this through. And just everyone died.
Okay, let's see.
And I had to close my eyes at one point because there's
Wade
too much.
falls onto a sign and gets stuck, but he manages to get himself down. He's fine, even for Wade's standards. Shatterstar falls into helicopter blades, and it's revealed that he has green blood. Boy, does he have green blood! Let's see. The Black Lightning guy, except not Black Lightning because that's a different character, comes down and hits a bus. So he's
or the bus hits him rather, but either way,
like it hits him just before he hits the ground.
Yeah.
The acid spitting guy, he falls into a wood chipper.
Oh my gosh! I had to close my eyes.
Peter lands safely, then sees the acid spitting guy partially in the wood chipper, tries to pull him out, and then out of terror, the acid spitting guy vomits acid and melts Peter.
Oh my god!
Literally, the only people who came out of that alive and okay were
the guy with regeneration powers and the girl with luck powers.
Yeah. Yeah. So the following sequence is actually pretty impressive from a point of view of okay, this action scene looks amazing, and it demonstrates how the luck powers work, which seem to make everyone else unlucky so that I am lucky.
Yeah, actually, because everyone was having a bad day in her vicinity. Crashing cars and stuff.
Yeah,
blowing up.
Gas stations exploding.
And in the meantime, Deadpool's just commenting on, no, luck can't be a power. It's not very cinematic.
And that's when he makes the Rob Liefeld comment, but doesn't say Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
Let's see, who else wins there? Let's see, but turns out that the prison transport crashes, and we get to see that Russell's been trying to get out of the thing the whole time, and he succeeds, sort of, while Cable has been trying to kill Deadpool.
And kill Russell.
Kill Russell, but
Deadpool's
Deadpool's been saying stuff like, yeah, children are a second chance, I'm not going to let them kill Russell, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. And then it's revealed the guy inside of the top secret Supermax thing. The Juggernaut.
Dun, dun, dun.
Though I do have a question. Why the fuck did they let him keep his armor? Seriously?
Nobody wanted to get close enough.
Okay, then how did they get him in prison? How did they attach the restraining collar to him? And once the restraining collar was attached to him, why didn't they hit him with enough strength to knock down a bull elephant?
Was there ever a restraining collar on him?
That's the other question I had. Was there a restraining collar on him? And if so, if not, how did they keep him there?
Yeah, and if so, when did he get it off?
Yeah, I mean, although it's shown that the kid could take those collars off, so Russell could take the collars off, so he could have done that.
Well, wait, when did he take the at the end, you mean?
Yeah.
So he had to get the code from Domino.
Maybe it was a different type of collar? I don't know.
Some of this isn't fully thought through.
Yeah, we just accept most of it because it's at the time, but...
It's Deadpool.
But, like, seriously, his helmet is a major strength for him. I mean, it's this. He wears it for the same reason that Magneto wears his helmet, so that Professor X can't hit the off button in his brain. I'm just...
Yeah, well, anyway, Juggernaut's there, and...
rips Deadpool in half.
Literally.
It's pretty freaking gory.
Yeah.
So Domino carries Deadpool out of there, while Russell's like, fuck this, I'm going to murder my old headmaster because he was a torturing son of a bitch, and the Juggernaut's my new friend. And this is the point where I honestly thought that the Juggernaut would just snap the kid's neck and just leave because he has literally no reason to follow this kid.
Yeah.
Other than that the kid shared his meal with him one time.
Yeah. The Juggernaut doesn't strike me as a guy who'd be loyal.
Honestly, when I first heard of this monster in the basement, I thought they were building it up in the inverse, like it was going to be some little girl who had all of these super mutant powers.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then like maybe they would form a kind of a toy ship with Russell.
Yeah. Because
like they feel like they couldn't fit in, but you know that didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. It was the Juggernaut.
It was the Juggernaut.
Wade goes back to Blind Alice and starts, making fun of her, and all of these people somehow come to Blind Alice's place, which allows Deadpool to quip, well, I'm glad you're here so I can explain why I didn't call you.
Yeah. Wade shows up to confess that he told Cable everything. Because there's this whole scene where Cable...
You mean Weasel.
I'm sorry, Weasel. Weasel, this whole thing where Cable has kidnapped Weasel, and he's starting to do this whole speech about how he's going to torture Weasel for information. And Weasel just tells him everything, because, like, frick it, I'm not a brave person. And that's the character.
I would break before you started. So,
yeah.
So I will tell you anything you want to know except where they are. Cable slightly shifts. Okay, where they are is... Oh, and the thing with the fanny pack, that's another shout-out to the fact that Rob Liefeld made him. Rob Liefeld loved having pouches all over his characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, yeah. Turns out that Wade has a mat-on for Cable because Cable took this amusement park token from him.
Oh, well, that's not turns out. We saw him take the token much earlier.
Well,
also, he hates Cable because Cable's trying to kill Russell, his semi-adoptive son type person.
Yeah, but that token was also the thing that he gave Vanessa for their 1 year their anniversary.
Their anniversary, whatever year it was.
Because it was from the same place they went on their first date on. The skee ball thing I mentioned earlier, which I didn't intend to bring up until now, but I did earlier, so what the hell.
Okay.
Let's just roll with this. We're rolling with this. We're doing it live!
Yeah, that's all we ever do.
Oh, yeah. Also, I just wanted to make a little quick apology here. First off, if we get things wrong because later it turns out that someone said something or we didn't think this through until much later, we usually review films less than an hour after we see them. So these are usually our very first
I don't think
impressions.
anyone's really complained about us being weird that way.
Yeah, but like, how many people have commented?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
still, like, I remember last episode I complained a lot about, it's bullshit that Spider-Man gets this because it exists. That scene, Spider-Man feels that he's about to be disintegrated because it's,
dramatically appropriate.
It's dramatically appropriate, but for no other reason. Well, someone pointed out that if you think about it, the spider sense is tingling.
Oh, hey, that is a good idea.
Which I still call bullshit on, because how the fuck would a spider sense that?
Previous encounters with Thanos.
Oh, yeah, bullshit. Fuck you. No, fuck you. That was still thrown in there just to make Tony Stark feel more guilty about failing.
I know.
I mean, if it makes sense as an interim thing, but just it doesn't taste right to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, it tastes better, but it's like a cheese. It's like what we were eating at first was like raw ground beef. Then you cook it into a burger, but now it has like a cough syrup aftertaste.
Wow, this is a very detailed review.
Look, I'm hungry, okay? I'm always hungry. I've started working out again, and my metabolism is all over the place.
Okay.
So, you don't like me when I'm hangry.
Yeah.
Anyways, Cable reveals that in the future, this
Fire Fist.
Russell
grows up
Fire
to be Fire
Fist
Fist.
grows up to be a supervillain, and he starts being a serial killer because at this time he went and he killed the headmaster of his old school. And then he got a taste for murder, and so he just goes around killing people for no reason. And so he came back in time to stop Russell before he killed his family.
Right. Russell will grow up to eventually kill Cable's family, to clarify.
Which I don't like this aspect of the film.
Yeah? Why not?
Look, I get it that grief over your family is a really powerful thing. I get that this is a very personal thing for Cable. However, Cable is a cyborg super soldier from the future with enhancements and special super weapons and a time machine. Generally speaking, it feels a little weak that he just came back in time to kill this kid because he killed his family. If this was mutant Hitler in the future, then sure, that seems like an appropriate excuse to meddle with the fabric of space-time. Look, I mean, time travel is one of those things that once you open it, it's a Pandora's box. It radically shifts, what can we do with this? How should we use this? How sacrosanct is the space-time continuum? What should we use it for? Wade even says, why didn't you use that to go back and kill Hitler?
And he explains briefly that it's hard to aim the time machine, I mean.
He explained it's hard to aim the time machine, but even if he said, okay, it's hard to aim the time machine, why didn't he go back and kill Hitler? Or the Nazis?
He says the further back you go, the harder it is to aim. So I'm guessing if you aim for 1942, you might wind up in 1842.
Okay, fine, but he didn't even try to avoid any other tragedies. Go for like, oh, I killed Osama bin Laden.
I see.
I killed all of these horrible people. I shot Bill Cosby in the dick.
Oh my god.
Hey, I am not going to show sympathy
Hey,
for
no,
a
I
fucking
didn't.
rapist.
I'm not expecting you to show sympathy for him. I was just, I wasn't expecting that one.
You know, stopped this madman from dumping napalm on civilians.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's, I came to stop my family from getting killed. I understand. That is a very powerful motivation, but it's not strong enough for a character like Cable, who has a long backstory in the Marvel Universe, who has multiple different...
Well, I think so you're saying is usually when Cable goes back in time, it's for a much bigger reason than this.
It feels like it should have been bigger.
Well, they did... He did say, rather briefly, that Fire Fist didn't just kill his family, but has gone around killing lots of people. We saw that well, okay, I guess it wasn't clear just how much of the city was ruined, but I assumed that there were a lot of other people had died, and not just like his wife and daughter.
Yeah, but he said you'll be saving the lives of hundreds of people. But just stopping the 9/11 attacks would have saved thousands.
Yeah.
See, this is why I'm against Cable doing this just for Fire Fist. Because this raises questions on what is morally applicable and not applicable to do with time travel. And I understand Cable's family is important to him. And I'm not saying that Cable's family is a bad reason to go back in time. It just felt like it wasn't enough.
Well, part of
that
it...
Russell wasn't enough of a reason to do this.
Part of it is what you're doing with the character of Cable. It is easy enough to imagine someone going back in time because he freaking feels like it. Because, like, that was Doc Brown's initial motivation, and nobody's mad at him for having that motivation because that's in his character. You're coming at this from the perspective of Cable is the guy who only goes back for really big things. And now he's been altered into a guy who will go back for a much smaller thing comparatively.
Again, I'll say it again. I don't think that's a small thing for him.
I said comparatively. Compared to what you're suggesting. That if Fire Fist
historically speaking, he has been the guy to go back and correct big things. Right. So I expect Cable to come back for big things.
Well, okay. So the easy way to fix that then is... Because he's mentions briefly that in 50 years, like, practically everyone is dead because something went wrong between now and then, right? If Fire Fist was the author of that thing...
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Fire Fist and his actions don't seem like they're big enough to justify it. If he was, like... If Magneto died and Fire Fist was the one to take up the mantle and declared war against humanity, turning it into Days of Future Past, but, like, worse in the future, that would be acceptable. But this just feels like it's not big enough.
Okay, I understand that.
And I guess this is more down to my emotional state on this one. I mean, not an emotional state, emotional feelings about how they should use characters and stuff.
I understand that. Okay, so I could develop that better. Anyway, though, Deadpool says to him, all right, look, we'll work together to go apprehend Russell, and then you let me persuade him not to start down the path of evil. Which, my other aspect with that is that they're portraying this as... I mean, I like this idea, by the way, that Russell is not just... Like, he starts off as some innocent kid who's been abused, and Deadpool needs to rescue him. But then he's going to become evil later in life, and now you have to, like, redeem him or pre-redeem him or, and so forth. So you're coming at that from a different angle and kind of exploring more of the idea of parenthood, where it's not just about physically protecting someone, but also, like, hopefully leading them to the right path to the extent that you can do so. The basic moral values that people need to learn or something like that.
Not barbecuing.
Like not barbecuing people. So, yeah. But the way they're doing it is, if he kills his headmaster, he goes down the path of evil. But his headmaster is well established, is abusive as frick, and tortures people, and is just an evil guy. And, if this were Batman talking to Russell, you can tell that Batman has a rule about never killing anyone ever. And so to him, it would be like this. Clearly, I philosophically, it fits. This is a line one must not cross. But Deadpool kills bad guys all the time, and he doesn't apparently grow up to be, you know, a serial killer evil guy 50 years in the future. So it's like, okay, so Deadpool can avoid that fate, but Russell can't. And okay, maybe that's because there's a difference in personality, and Russell has got more issues that'll explode later on. But it would have hit a little more clearly to me if, say, Russell is so out for revenge, he's not just going to kill the headmaster, but also, like, the headmaster's family. Or even just that he's accidentally going to kill some innocent people while he kills the headmaster. Which they kind of said that he's going to go burn down the orphanage accidentally while he does that, but he really was seem to be focusing on the headmaster, who is outdoors by the time he gets around to hitting him, so I don't know what was going on there. But okay.
The motivations for some of the characters could have been better established, is what we're saying, really.
Yeah.
And I can on the other hand, where you were opposed to me with the cable thing, I'm actually opposed to you on this thing because I see it as a slippery slope thing. This guy abused and hurt me, so it's okay to kill him.
Right.
Can become a slippery slope.
But my point is that Deadpool apparently does not slip. He's on a sticky staircase.
He's already in hell, basically.
But he's, as we said, the adaptational heroism thing, he has never killed an innocent person. Like, ever. So that counts for something. He's like Huntress. He's not like, you know, classic Deadpool or something.
Fair enough. Although this kid might have
this kid might be more susceptible to the slippery slope. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
Yeah. Anyway, though, okay, so they're gonna team up and they're gonna go to the school for wayward mutants. And Russell and Juggernaut get there first. Juggernaut helping out because I don't know why.
Yeah, like we said, Juggernaut's motivation not really established. He just kind of goes with Russell.
Oh, and before though that Deadpool goes back to the X Mansion and plays a surprisingly tiny boombox.
Well, I mean, they don't really have big boomboxes much anymore.
Well, if anyone would have one, it would be Deadpool. It would be buried under the floorboards right next to the Cure for Blindness. Like, it would just be...
Yeah, but I'd also say that a lot of his stuff was destroyed in the explosion.
Yeah, that's true. But he basically says to Colossus, look, I'm sorry, and I'm not great, and I'm not a great friend to you, but you're a good friend to me, and I don't deserve help, but this kid deserves your help, so please help. And Colossus, you know, just refuses to even talk to him. And I'm like, all right, well, Colossus is going to show up later in this movie, because otherwise what was the point of this scene?
Also, Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio are there, and, again, adorableness.
Yeah. So Deadpool and his crew arrive at the place and have to tangle with Juggernaut, and the kid is chasing around the headmaster, screaming at him to say that one phrase so that he can go kill him right after he says the stupid phrase he hates so much. You know, blessed are those who are healed by my hand, or something like that. Which is pretty intense and interesting.
Blessed are the wicked who are healed by my hand.
That's it, yeah.
Which, it's kind of contradictory. Blessed are the wicked who are healed. Unless he's referring to their wickedness being cured. Okay. Yeah. So that makes more sense then.
Oh, you thought they remained wicked after the curing. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, because, like, I mean, that's just all good and pious and stuff. Like, be nice to your enemies. Yeah. But that makes more sense. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, he's an evil type. So it's pretty intense, actually, him trying to confront this guy and the guy running away and all that. And then there's a huge fight with Juggernaut, and Colossus shows up.
And he starts fighting dirty. And there's this hilarious song. It's this choral song while the Juggernaut is fighting, which goes, oh God, it's the Juggernaut, holy shit, oh shit, oh shit. And no, normally when I'm saying that shit, I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
But no, this is literally what
the lyrics.
Saying, oh shit, it's the Juggernaut.
Yeah. So that was funny. Eventually, Negasonic shows up too. I guess she had traveled separately or something, because she shows up a few minutes later. I don't know.
I don't think she wanted to get involved in that.
Yeah, well, she helps out right at the end, and they electrocute Juggernaut, apparently to death. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's still getting electrocuted.
So, like, Yukio, I don't know what her powers are. I think it's charging
She had like electric whips, so maybe she conducts
They were
electricity.
chains, so
chains. She sends electricity through her skin, that sort of thing.
So maybe it was a bit like what is it? Who's the guy? Cajun guy.
Oh,
Gambit.
Gambit.
Yeah, but like you can charge things with energy, except maybe these are like electricity that make it so you can't just snap these easily.
Yeah.
Which it seems like the Juggernaut could. Then Colossus rips off the backside of Juggernaut's armor, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Juggernaut shove an electric cable up its ass. His ass. Shove him in the pool. And then we kind of never see Juggernaut again, so I'm going to assume that he died.
This is so dark. This is so dark.
Oh, yeah, but the rest of the film, way above board, the one dark moment in the movie.
I honestly, I think that should come up in the how it should have ended. We're like, look, Russell, it's important to know you never kill someone. Never. Well, what did you just do to Juggernaut a minute ago? And they cut to, like, the pool still electrified. Well, that doesn't count.
Also, that should not be said to Wade, because Wade didn't do that. Wade was with Cable fighting all the quote-unquote pedophile doctors.
Yeah, well, anyway, it could come up in a different context. So, yeah, they killed a bunch of the staff of the place, who I presume are all evil, because wouldn't it suck if one of them was a nice person who just showed up yesterday and doesn't know what they do yet?
And finally, Domino is inside evacuating all the children to safety because with her luck abilities,
everything works out.
Yeah. Especially since the outside fighting manages to kill everyone inside with her barely having to do anything.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And
eventually they manage to convince Russell not to flambe him by way of...
They apparently about to convince him, and then, like, Deadpool goes and, like, hugs him, and then Russell says, no, I can't trust you, and, like, burns him, and...
Yeah, but it's Deadpool. He literally was ripped in half earlier in this film. This should be, like, not even a paper cut for him.
But then Deadpool, like, puts on
I've had... Well, let's see, I was literally ripped in half, exploded into a billion pieces, but mild warmth?
Well, I didn't think he was dead or something.
Oh, why? Cruel fates!
Anyway, he's about to go kill the guy, and then Deadpool puts on a limiter collar, and, you know, to show the kid he said, if you're going to kill someone, kill me, you know, and the kid was about to use the fire anyway. Maybe trying to aim around him.
So
Cable grabs the bolt gun that has one bullet left and fires it, and Deadpool jumps in the way of the bullet.
Okay, I was honestly expecting Cable to use that shot to kill the bad guy. I mean, to kill the...
the headmaster?
Headmaster.
Yeah, that kind of worked.
But he didn't. So,
so Deadpool jumps in front of the bullet, and the kid is so impressed that Deadpool was willing to die to save him that you have an emotional moment, and he... you know, forswears violence, basically. I guess that headmaster still remained on the ground instead of running for his life for the next 18 minutes it took for this death sequence.
Yeah, okay. Funny thing about this death sequence is that Deadpool just doesn't die for, like, a long time.
He's, like, four separate moments of, like, oh, now he's dead. Oh, wait, never mind. And after a while, we were thinking, the limiter isn't working. Oh, we get it.
But then he actually dies.
Like
for realsies.
Yeah, which is weird. After 4 fake outs, you're like, but he's like not really dead, right? Like you couldn't fully believe it. But then he sees Vanessa and like walks over to her half of the room, which is the afterlife, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally she tells him that it's not his time, and they'll have moments later. But now he has to go back to his family, and it turns out Cable uses his time travel thing, his last charge, to go back like 20 minutes and put the skee ball token at the exact spot where Deadpool is destined to be shot in a few minutes' time. So he survives that instead of having the extremely elongated death scene.
Although, really, you could have used the time machine to go back just a little further and maybe stop any of this from happening, Cable.
Yeah, time travel. I don't know. It's weird.
Again, once the time travel genie is let out of the box, it opens up a lot of plot holes, potentially.
You know, it's easier to do a time travel thing if it's limited by circumstance, like they did in Back to the Future, where you can't get back except at this exact moment when the lightning bolt hits the thing. So you can't just like be doing 100 trips all around the plot all the time.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's why time travel is such a hard thing to work around, and why stories that bring up time travel.
Yeah, it's possible to do it right, but it's difficult.
Yeah, Doctor Who does it right sometimes. Other times, not so much. But
mostly they use the time travel as an excuse to just get to a new setting for the next plot.
Fair point.
Yeah.
But still, it's one of those things that you have to really think about before you bring in. Anyways, so it turns out that because of this, well, Cable's been carrying around this teddy bear. And this teddy bear is burnt, and it has dried blood on it because it used to belong to his daughter before she was brutally murdered. But as soon as Russell is redeemed, the bear returns to its normal state, meaning that Cable's family in the future is okay. And that's the... so... anyways, Wade is saved. They start to leave the grounds, and evil headmaster dude gets run over by Dopinder, who the Deadpool's taxi driver friend, who...
has been saying this whole movie. He wants to be courageous and be a contract killer and stuff. He finally gets to kill someone. What do you know?
Yep. Anyways, so yeah, that guy's dead. Then after a few, the credits show Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio,
yeah.
Are shown that they've fixed Cable's time machine, and then they give it to Deadpool. Yukio immediately says what any of us would be thinking at that moment. My God, what have I done? So Deadpool goes back in time. He saves Vanessa.
Saves Peter.
Shoots
alternate Deadpool from the X-Men Origins movie of Wolverine.
And then he shoots the guy who wrote the Green Lantern script for the movie Green Lantern that Ryan Reynolds starred in as Hal Jordan.
Is he shooting the writer or shooting himself there? I wasn't...
I don't know, okay. But all I gotta say is, screw you, movie. I thought Green Lantern was at best okay.
Yeah, no, it was mediocre.
It was mediocre. It wasn't bad, but it was just...
Shrug bad, yeah.
It wasn't MST3K bad.
It wasn't Monos or any of that.
Oh, God, nothing is as bad as Monos. Or Star Wars Holiday Special, or any of the other really, really bad ones. Yeah. It was just forgettably bad.
Yeah.
It's like a bland hot dog that doesn't taste that great.
Right.
Compared to all the other hot dogs you've ever had. But it's like not really bad hot dog. It's just a little worse than normal. Okay, so yeah, that's my opinion on Green Lantern.
Okay.
Now, naturally, this movie is packed full of so many frickin' jokes
that we do not have time to explain.
Oh, God, we do not have time to explain it in 1,000 years. Okay, so ultimately, was this a good movie? Yes.
Yeah, it was Deadpool. It was silly with some heart to it, and a few things didn't make sense, but okay, it's Deadpool.
Yeah, some things didn't make sense, like what I said with the time travel stuff. That doesn't make sense, but, it's one of those movies where you can kind of shrug a lot of those details off, even though it tries to remain internally consistent. This is clearly a more comedic film, so those you don't necessarily have to be as...
It's nice that the movies outside the MCU can change up their tone so much, whereas MCU has to keep it more consistent because it's all shared universe. Over here at the Fox, we get to do, freaking Deadpool being stuff that just would not fit in the shared universe with everyone else.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but, I don't know, they have films that don't necessarily... Yeah, I mean, I guess they all kind of have the shared level of silliness, of seriousness. But then there's Guardians of the Galaxy, or a little outside of the rest of the MCU wheelhouse. And Doctor Strange was a little...
I still say Doctor Strange is Magic Iron Man. It was not different enough for me, considering what I know of Doctor Strange.
Okay, yes, fair enough.
But I'll give you Guardians of the Galaxy for definitely having its own flavor. And that's some of my favorite MCU stuff.
What I guess this review is really boiling down to Disney, buy the rights, put God damn it, Put Rom Space Knight into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Man.
No, I don't care that Hasbro is currently building up their own comic universe, which has all of their properties in one world.
Rom Space Knight. That'd be fun.
There actually is a rebooted Rom Space Knight comic out now.
Oh, really? I should go see it.
Yeah, but it's Hasbro.
It's good.
It's Hasbro stuff. Also, I think it's canceled, so... It's Hasbro stuff.
Okay.
So, all of the things that Linkara talked about in the ROM perspective, that doesn't apply.
No.
Well, okay, most of it does not apply. I mean, there's, like, other Space Knights, maybe?
I don't know.
Fuck it, I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking care.
Okay, so...
Look, just put ROM
just
into
like
the...
Deadpool, we've drifted into random references.
ROM in Marvel Cinematic Universe. James Gunn actually wanted to put ROM into Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That would have been fun.
I know, but then legal issues.
Just have, like, you know...
Plus, you know, the
Tom Space Knight.
Guardians of the... Oh, actually, interesting story. As Linkara has noted, Hasbro owns the rights to ROM, but only ROM. Everything else that was in that comic, that belongs to Marvel. And the Space Knights and ROM's kids and Brandy have all shown up at various points in the Marvel Universe.
Wow. Cool.
Hell, Hybrid showed up in Young Avengers.
Really?
Not too long ago. But seriously, that would make a great MCU film. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy dealing with the shape-shifting, magic-using dire wraiths. Come on, Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy working together.
That could be fun.
Anyways,
They get around to that. They gotta do
so
all the other things
Deadpool, yeah, silly. It's fun. It's action-packed. It's bloody.
It's Deadpool. It's exactly what it says in the tin. If you didn't know who Deadpool was, then I don't know. You know you're going into. Anyone else, this is Deadpool. Just like the first movie. So I guess that's it. Fun stuff.
I guess that's it. Yep.
Cool.
So, anyways, I'm Sith King.
I'm Sonic Sons.
Signing off.